It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's already Thursday evening, July the 6th. Welcome back to our nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and DAX tonight. Crude is bearish, but struggling to push through today's low, which tells us to look for selling opportunities up in the battle zone and a target back at yesterday's low. Trying to finish off that two-legged move we talked about in last night's newsletter. The S&P's bearish and trying to retest the prior week low, but a measured move is telling us to wait for a two-legged correction to avoid chasing this move lower tomorrow. Gold is range-bound, yeah, same range from yesterday, and looking a little bit lifeless in the middle of the range. So we're staying patient, and we're waiting for breakouts to fade on Friday. Euro's bullish with a strong bull channel, telling us to look for a two-legged pullback and a target going up to last week's high. Don't forget FDAX. FDAX is bearish with a spike in range tonight, telling us to look for traps and failures up above that range high with a target going back to last week's low. We are ready to wrap up what has been a great first week of the month of July. We got some big news tomorrow morning early in the session, and of course that's likely going to give us some big trading opportunities to wrap up the week on a Friday. Got a great newsletter in store for you guys, gals, tonight. Before we jump in and put the plan together for tomorrow, I want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link and come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our newsletter goes live. Follow me on social, lower left-hand corner, StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you like the most. Pick your flavor of the week, right? And follow me on social. I'm always posting important charts, links, and updates on my many social media channels. Also, don't forget, grab those charts. How easy is that? All the charts from tonight's video, you can have them on your computer for tomorrow, right where it says click here to download today's charts. Grab those charts and have them ready for tomorrow's trading session. And please don't forget to grab your free pass. You got to grab that free pass, guys. If you're not an advanced member here at School of Trade, you'll learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can guarantee you that. Grab that free pass in the upper right-hand corner. And please don't forget, I'm always here to answer questions. We got a great free trial if you want to learn more about our trading strategies. And I'm always here, of course, right, to answer all your questions. Hit me up on the live support tool on the right-hand side of the website. Boy, we just got started this week, right? We came off a holiday weekend where tomorrow's already Friday. It's not just any Friday, though. Tomorrow, of course, is non-farm Friday. Let's dig right in. Of course, tomorrow is the last day of the week. It's also non-farm Friday. There are a couple things I want you to remember every Friday morning. First of all, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the day, right? Traders take bigger risks. So as we go into the end of the week tomorrow, remember, as we go into the afternoon session on Fridays, at the end of the day and at the end of the week, traders take bigger risks, right? They, of course, are trading with either house money or trying to dig themselves out of holes. Whatever the case may be, risk tolerance goes up at the end of the day and at the end of the week, so be careful in the afternoon session. Early in, early out on Friday mornings. You're more than welcome to hold positions into the afternoon, but be very careful. The same patterns that make you money during the week, right, are going to not work as well as we get after 10:45, 11 o'clock on Friday. So volume drives up pretty good on Friday mornings, late in the day. I would imagine tomorrow as a Friday, as we're coming off of this holiday weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people come into the office for only a few hours tomorrow and get back to their weekend, right? Trying to extend out that holiday weekend a little bit. I'm sure a lot of folks are on vacation this whole week, and so I'm sure tomorrow will be kind of a half day for those folks as well. So early in, early out. Be careful taking new trades after 11 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. And tomorrow's non-farm Friday, which means we've got a couple more things we want to talk about here tomorrow. Pretty much that's all the news you got to worry about tomorrow. All eyes and all ears will be on the employment number tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Remember, this is the first Friday of every 1 month. This non-farm payroll number is right on the same level as an FOMC announcement, right? A big political announcement. This is a big, big deal tomorrow, that employment number. It's one of the big reasons why the markets were a little bit slow this afternoon, just because traders have to get out of big positions so they're not caught, right, with exposure tomorrow during this number. Now, we already heard this morning from the ADP employment report, right, which is going to be used as a leading indicator trader ahead of Friday's number, right? You'll notice there wasn't much reaction to the ADP number today, and there won't be. What's going to happen is people are going to be watching to see, do we get that ADP number? Do we get a similar number, right, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.? What I want you to remember tomorrow is low volume ahead of the news, right? So don't be surprised if markets are kind of floundering around ahead of that news. And then after the news comes out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., the market will move either very fast or very slow. Either way, we got to stay patient. Give it 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes, right, to let the market kind of gather its balance and then go from there. Now remember, because we heard from the ADP number this morning at 8:15, a lot of traders have probably already placed their bets ahead of tomorrow's non-farm number at 8:30 a.m. That means if tomorrow's number comes out within expectations, the market has most likely already priced it in, which means it won't react very dramatically. Give it 5 or 10 minutes, it will gather itself, and it will start moving afterwards. But watch out, though. If the market comes out, or if we get the news tomorrow morning outside of expectations, now anybody who placed their bets ahead of time, now they have to scramble and make some adjustments. Most professionals who are trading ahead of this news are going to have plan A, as expected, plan B, higher than expected, and plan C, lower than expected. So depending on what that news number comes out tomorrow, if it comes out as expected, traders, of course, a lot of them are already in the market for it based on the ADP number this morning, and the market won't do very much. If the number comes out higher or lower than expectations, yeah, that's when we start seeing some extreme volatility, and we have to be careful. So either way, whether it's very slow or whether it's very fast tomorrow, give it 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes until after that news comes out, and then we wait and see what we get. One more thing about tomorrow's news. Tonight, I'm going to give you guys the charts that we're using for tomorrow. But please remember, anytime we have a big dramatic news event like this, we know that this could easily be picked up and dropped around and kicked around tomorrow, and we may have to kind of reformulate a game plan tomorrow as the day develops. Don't forget, you don't need to do this alone. I'll be with all of our clients in the trade room tomorrow morning. If we have to gather ourselves after the news comes out, we'll do that. One more thing I want to remind you too is oftentimes these big news events produce very strong moves either up or down. I know right now these markets, most of them have some trends right now. Gold is range bound, but everything else is pretty much trending. And what I want you to promise me you're not going to do tomorrow is just because I say, for example, we're bearish on crude, right? Do not try to sell into a runaway bull run tomorrow if the market reacts bullishly to this news event. So promise me tomorrow you're not going to be a gambler. Promise me tomorrow you'll wait after that news comes out, see who takes control, and then go from there. I'll do my part tonight to give you some charts to work with tomorrow. Again, don't be shy about coming in and joining me as a client tomorrow in the trade room, and we'll do it together, right? That way you're not alone. But just be careful, right? Don't try to catch a falling knife, and don't try to step in front of a freight train tomorrow. If the market's running up or running down, do not try to fade those moves because they will run you out of this market. And the last thing you want to do ahead of the weekend is get a big loss because you were blindly trading, right, during news events. All right? That's it. I'm off my soapbox. Now you guys on the plan for tomorrow. Be careful tomorrow, right? And again, early in, early out. Let's jump in. How about some crude? Crude is bearish and trying to retest yesterday's low. We talked about this in last night's newsletter, but sellers appear to be struggling to push through today's low, which tells us to look for selling opportunities up at resistance levels overhead or wait for a fake out, breakout, pullback to go lower tomorrow. The plan for tomorrow is pretty simple. We're going to watch for this short-term trading range to develop and then focus on selling high above that range or wait for a strong breakdown and look for the pullbacks from there. Now, we talked about this in pretty good detail last night. Last night we came out, last night's newsletter, we were coming off this real big, strong API reaction. And as I told you guys last night, I wouldn't be surprised if we came in this morning and we were bullish. That's exactly what happened, right? Spent the whole day today ahead of the inventory report being a buyer. Well, sure enough, like we discussed last night on the newsletter, price went up into the battle zone and then slowly made its move back down, right? So here we are now. We're back to being bearish again. Took a little time out for the bulls to have some fun, all right, ahead of that inventory report today at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And now here we are collapsing off of that high. Not a huge surprise. Again, we kind of outlined this last night on the newsletter, so this shouldn't be catching anyone off guard. The objective right now for those sellers is to go all the way back to where they came from at 44.51. But here's the problem. We started this morning with a low just above that 45.18. We go all the way up, we come crashing back down. I'm sure some of you can see that kind of funky head and shoulders pattern coming off there. But the bottom line is, look what happens when we get right back to that low here. Does that look like price acceptance, or does that look like price rejection? It looks like everybody had their targets, the low of day at 20, right, and just got out of their trades and price bounces. Then, as we see the bounce, what don't we see? We're not seeing any follow through that low, right? This would be a completely different story if we saw the sellers sell the pullback to the moving average and run down below that 45.18. But that's not happening. So what this looks like is, it looks like your typical spike in range. Spike down, strong move down, but the bears, for whatever reason, are rejecting that lower price. That tells me let's focus on not selling low, let's focus on selling high. How can we do that? Well, I love me some reversal lines. That 45.65 area is a naked reversal line. Oh, and don't forget about this falling resistance trend line. That together creates the battle zone. In all reality, guys, you could use this whole entire range as the battle zone tomorrow. But, I want to be as specific as possible for you guys. So what I'd like to see is price to go up, sell up top, right? So we can sell it back down, right? So really anything between that 46.02, that 45.65 will be ripe for the pickings. How would this work, right? How would we sell high tomorrow? Well, you want to think about failures. You want to think about traps, and you want to think about that elusive two-legged correction. So first of all, a failure would look like this, right? Jump up, buyers try to buy and hold the pullback, right, to take control. They fail, and of course we're now selling high with buyer failure. Another option would be a trap high, a little trap right above that prior swing, trap high. Use that reversal line, right? Selling back down. That'll be the most aggressive. And then of course don't forget about that possible two-legged correction. It's a pretty strong move down, so don't forget we may see a sharper correction higher. Watch for a little bit more juice to the upside, get that trend line, right? And then use that trend line, right? Use that trend line for the sell back down. So a couple different options here. All of them include being a seller as the market goes lower. Now, what if the price goes right as the market goes higher? What if the price goes lower? Right? What's our plan here if that price goes lower tomorrow? Remember, we're seeing real clear evidence that we're rejecting lower prices. We definitely don't have the buyers in control, but we're very, very low on this chart. The objective is to retest that 44.51. So what I'm looking for is I want to see that classic fake out, breakout, pullback. Strong breakdown. How strong? Strong enough to get that moving average outside the range. And then I'm looking for that two-legged trap high so I can sell low tomorrow. The most important thing you want to remember for tomorrow, if we don't get a correction higher, is that you're going to have a lot of sellers who are still waiting to sell high. So as the market goes lower, resist the temptation to chase the market lower. I know sometimes you can trade breakouts and they'll make you money, but they're only about a 35, on a good day, a 40% winner. So you don't want to make that mistake of taking too many breakouts because it will catch up to you. Most important thing is if this market does collapse lower, be very, very careful selling down here, right? Again, breakdown, trap high, right? And then sell high as we go down, right? If it ends up rolling around down here in a trading range, don't forget, trap up, back down, right? Trap high, back down. Anytime I find myself in a situation where the only choice I have is to sell right down near the objective. The objective's at 45, 44, 51. Remember, markets always have a reason. There's always a goal. There's always an objection. Anytime you take money out of your pocket and put it to work for something, it's to provide shelter or food or transport. There's always a reason for it, right? So traders are in for a reason as well. Their reason right now is to go right back to where we came from. If we find ourselves down around that 44.51, be very careful selling low, right? You focus your energy on selling high. Now, hey, we got news tomorrow morning. How does this market turn bullish? Strength. Look at the strength we saw going down. right? That's about as much strength as we're going to need to go back higher. We're going to have to see a price go up. I'd want to get above that trend line, hold that pullback, and once we see that pullback hold and we start making a new higher high there, now we know we're off to the races, looking for a bold channel, a bold measured move, right? And of course, right, retesting that 46.53. Guys and gals, don't forget tomorrow, big news tomorrow morning, early in the session, early in, early out, because it's a Friday. Watch those prior week high and prior week low levels because we're going into the end of the week. And don't forget, I get a lot of questions every day on my YouTube channel, in my inbox, and on live support about entries, exits, all the setups we actually use to get into these trades. What are you waiting for, guys? Learn more on our website, right? I go over all the different entries and exits, all of our trading strategy inside of that free trial. And please don't forget to check out our beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of membership. Our beginner membership is great for anyone who wants to lay a strong foundation of knowledge and skills. The intermediate course will then build on that foundation with all of your technical analysis. And the advanced course, we're going to wrap it together with all of our trade setups, our trading plan, market psychology, and of course, we execute the strategy every day in a real-time environment, right, in our trade room with all of our advanced members. Guys, I'm always here to answer your questions. Don't forget, you're never alone out there on your journey. I'm always here to answer your live support. Hit me up on the right-hand side of the website. Join the free trial. Make sure you refer this information to a friend. I know you got some trading buddies out there that will benefit from the great information we give every evening in this nightly newsletter. So don't be afraid about sharing this information with a friend. Keep in touch. If I don't see you tomorrow morning in the trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be back next Monday evening for our next nightly newsletter. I'm always here to help. If you need help, guys, keep in touch. I'll be here tomorrow. If not, we'll see you next Monday. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.